Red Bull, are you watching? Red Bull, hello. Red Bull, are you watching? Welcome, everybody, back to Field to Table. I am your steady host, Daniel Myers, and my part time host is back, Mr. Ben Reed. Thanks for coming.
Hello.
Thanks for fitting me into your busy schedule.
You're welcome. I'm just trying to be gracious. Are you saying I'm not steady? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you did miss 2 already.
2 out of 9. It's not bad.
Yeah, sure.
7 out of 9. I'm batting pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, you're better than all Major League Baseball players ever.
Yeah.
All right. For those of you watching, listening, paying attention at all, we really appreciate you guys' feedback. We really want you guys' feedback. Anything that you think that we should talk about or you want us to talk about, funny questions, stories. I'm really looking for some funny stories, honestly, that we can retell here on the Field Table podcast. I would love to discuss your story, funny. It must be funny here on the podcast. So please send any and all feedback. You can email us, podcast@fieldpulse.com. Pretty simple. Of course, clips, teasers, all media things are on our Instagram page at Field Pulse. And then these episodes are being launched on your podcast host app. It's always an app. And then we're also putting them on YouTube. So comment, like, share, bells, whistles, buttons, all the stuff. Y'all know what to do.
Send them to your grandma.
Yeah, send them to your grandma, send them to your sister, whatever.
Probably not your kids, though, unless they're adults.
Yeah, and if you have semi-adult children, I'd say at least like 15, 16-year-old kids.
Probably.
Yeah, they might get some of this stuff that we've talked about.
Maybe.
So I wanted to ask you today, not a whole lot of people know this about Ben Reed. You're an avid poker player.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy the sport.
Okay. Oh, it's a sport? It's not a game? So if you're a sport, then you're an athlete.
Exactly, yes. I'm a poker athlete.
You're a poker athlete.
Putting in a lot of practice.
The mental gymnastics that just took to get to, yes, you are an athlete. But I wanted to ask you about poker from my point of view, which is I know what poker is, being a card game, and that's about it. I don't understand the strategy. I know what all the stuff is. Like I've watched the tournaments and stuff, trying to comprehend the game, trying to understand the game. Blackjack is very simple, right? And blackjack I get, and that's super simple. But poker is just, it has more layers on it than I think I'm ready to comprehend. And I guess what I'm really getting at is card games for me, as soon as I realized that it's luck and skill kind of layered on with each other, kind of like a casserole, like a 7-layer dip or something, where it's luck and it's skill, and then it goes back to luck again, and then but skill has a part in it, and then strategy is like, the icing on top of the whole thing, because you have to have, for some of these tournaments, which you've said that you've been in, of like, it's a long game, right? You could be there for hours, or days. That's
depending on the tournament. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, what got you into playing poker?
Oh man, I've been into poker. So to be clear, I play Texas Hold'em, which is kind of like the most popular version of poker. It's kind of all anybody really plays. If you go to bigger events or casinos, which I don't really go to casinos, but there's other games too, like 7-card stud, 5-card stud. Those are very popular.
Okay.
And then one other game called Omaha. Those are kind of like 99% of what people play poker. I would say 80% is Texas Hold'em. That's the most popular game. That's all most people play. And that's what I play. So I think I've been playing since I was like 6 or 7 years old.
What?
Oh yeah. Long time.
Your parents taught you poker?
No, my older brothers.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 6, so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, my older brother probably was 18 when I was.
Okay.
When I was 5 or 6.
Okay.
And not with real money or anything, but
Sure.
you get little plastic poker chips when you're a kid. And
he was putting your toys up for Annie.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember. I can't remember my first game or anything, but just learning learning cards. I remember learning how to play cards, just other games, other basic, like the high card wins. 10 beats a 2, but ace beats a king, that kind of
Sure.
thing. That's kind of all poker is. And then you just got to learn what combinations are the best and stuff like that. But yeah, I just since a very young age, I was in Boy Scouts. We played poker every night on camping trips,
Okay.
at summer camp. Oh yeah, and we were gambling, like Snicker bars and
Uh-huh.
candy and vouchers to the snow cone machine or whatever it
Okay.
was
All
when you're
right.
when you're 12.
That's
Uh,
hilarious.
oh yeah, and it was awesome taking candy from your friends, dude. That's one of the best things. Actually, it's funny. We our new product manager, Jared, him and I grew up together in Boy Scouts, and yeah, like we were getting lunch at Field Pulse one day, and he was asking if I still played poker because he remembered me as the poker kid. Maybe I taught some people, I don't know, but
I'm
I
sure you
was
did. Yeah.
I was always into poker.
Okay. All right. So, all right, you started young and you at least were better than other kids your age, maybe as you grew up, right? And so okay, so you're growing up, you're playing poker among being another kid, a little kid and doing other things, but when did you and I don't know even know if you did start to take it seriously, like going to the tournaments that you go to, that's a decision, right? That's a
Hmm.
commitment to playing poker. Was there a time that you made that you saw that as like something that you wanted to do, or has it always just been kind of a hobby and it's just something that you've always done?
Yeah, so I guess before we go any further, some disclaimers. I do not. I'm not advertising or suggesting gambling. I'm not saying that's a
No.
good idea. Field Pulse does not. This is not sponsored by Field Pulse.
No.
This is a separate podcast. Field the table. We just happen to work at Field Pulse, at least for this episode. But
There's lots of people that play poker.
yeah, yeah,
You're just one of lots of people that
yeah.
play
And
poker.
to be clear, I love playing it with even with no stakes. Like we don't
Sure.
have to gamble for me to have fun.
Sure.
I just love the game. But yeah, so when did I get more into it? I think I remember now with those disclaimers aside, this is kind of where it goes different paths. But yeah, at some point as a teenager, my friends and my brothers and their friends, I kind of hung out with the older crowd usually.
Yeah, me too.
Me being the youngest, and all my friends were always older than me for the most part. Um, every Halloween we would do trick or treating, and then we'd play poker with the candy. And so we'd set values and we'd have this big poker game, play for a couple hours,
Okay.
and like you just hope to walk away with all of the Snickers and
Sure.
Hershey's, and you got rid of your dots because no one likes those.
Yep, yep.
So that was like probably the biggest poker game I played all year was that stupid Halloween game that
Okay.
we took pretty seriously. Like everybody, we were playing for real. 8 to 10 of us.
Okay.
And that was probably till I was what 15, 16. We were still kind of doing that kind of thing. Um, and I think my first real game, my brother started hosting like real cheap games, like $5 for a tournament. And we were pretty careful about gambling and stuff. So like we would even I think it's pretty much legal where we are in Texas. If it's a private event and
Yeah,
private
yeah,
game,
yeah, yeah.
and
Private events.
there's no rake, right? So the house you can't host it and take 10%.
Yeah,
That's illegal.
yeah.
But a private game, whatever, the winner takes all kind of thing.
Yeah, I have lots of friends who do that all the time. They
Yeah.
just invite friends over and play poker all night. I
Yep.
don't go because I don't understand the damn game. All I would be doing is donating money to everybody else, which is why I don't go.
Well, it can still be fun, but maybe not financially smart.
No.
But yeah, so like in the early days, like every tournament, we would literally buy like a gift card that would equal the amount, and the winner would get the gift card. And
Okay.
just because I don't know, some people were cautious about that kind of thing, but um, did that for a couple years, and then at one point after the tournament, a friend of mine was playing. Again, don't condone this, and this is not legal, but he was playing online, like in a cash game, uh, which is not legal in Texas. But somehow this was like 15 years ago,
Mhm.
and somehow he got like a VPN or something, and he could like log in through Nevada, like that kind of a thing. You
Okay.
know what
All
I
right. All
mean?
right.
Which again, I do not recommend. But I think he was playing, and I was kind of like watching and like helping him make decision stuff. And we played for like a couple hours until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And he like doubled or tripled his money. And he gave me like half of it as like just like it wasn't that much, but as like 16-year-old, it was like $400. I
Yeah.
was like, dang, this is sweet. Uh, which I've never won more than $20 before, you know. So it was
Sure.
like, wow, that's crazy. But that was, yeah, that was the moment where I was like, got the feeling of, oh wow, there's actually like another side of this, which is probably not the good side
Yeah.
of gambling. So definitely always cautious about that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the game and like I wasn't good back then. I just started watching poker on TV. I started watching like all the YouTube. There's tons of poker
Oh, I'm
personalities
sure.
on
I'm sure.
YouTube.
Yeah.
There's endless content. Started watching the World Series of Poker. There's several other big tournaments throughout the world every year. And just started, you know, we just have a kind of a regular home game once or twice. Like probably like every other month we have a game. And it's
Okay.
like 7 or 10 friends and we just play a tournament and that's it. And
Okay.
that's basically it.
All right. So the game itself, for anybody that doesn't know, like me, and maybe wants to learn, I'm not asking for a tutorial, but explain how the game is laid out. Is it eh, are you playing with one deck? Are you playing with two decks? Is there a maximum amount of players you can have? Kind of walk through the steps of the game for me, like all the way through, just take it one hand at a time for me and just explain, like, going through the process up until one player wins that hand.
Yeah, sure. So Texas Hold'em, there's whether you're playing a cash game or a tournament, there's a max number of players for one deck, which is 10.
Okay.
And you only play with one deck, so you can't ever have two.
Okay.
So typically you play from with anywhere from like 3 or 4 people at a 10. You know, you can play with just two, but yeah, it's kind of not the same thing.
Hmm.
Um, so you got a deck, so you got 6 people playing. The dealer deals out 2 cards each. So it goes around and deals out, everybody gets 2 cards.
And there's a specific poker shuffle, isn't there? That's got to be done a specific way, or does every dealer kind of have their own thing?
I mean, if you're an actual dealer, they all deal the same way. So like they all shuffle the same way.
Okay. Okay.
There's like I mean, so like I used to deal poker for a couple years, and everyone learns like the WSOP, the World Series of Poker, like their certified standard, and
Okay.
that does change every couple of years. They'll like update it or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter. You
Okay.
can shuffle however you want
Okay. As long as it's
as long as
shuffled.
you don't like see all the cards and you're trying to cheat, you know,
Sure. Okay.
that's the main thing.
All right.
You deal out 2 cards each, and then essentially there's a round of betting. So if you like your 2 cards, if they're good, you might bet. People who like their cards will call and be in. So it's kind of a grouping of chips from that. The second round, the dealer will put 3 cards on the table on the board. It's called the flop.
Okay.
And so essentially in poker, in all poker games, you want the best hand, which is a combo of 5 cards.
Okay.
It's always 5 cards. So whether you're playing Texas Hold'em or 5 card draw or whatever it is, you're always using 5 cards. Um, and so with Hold'em, you've got your 2 cards that you can see, and then you have the board that everybody can see. And
So those three
essentially,
cards are face up, right?
yep,
Okay. I'm thinking about a World Series of Poker that I watched, and there's that little camera on the edge of the table, and you can see each player pick up their
yep,
cards. I always thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, that's called the whole camera. So they're whole cards. But yeah, so you got your 2 cards, you got 3 out there, and you just got to see, hey, do these 5 together
Yeah.
make a good hand?
Okay.
Um, but in Texas Hold'em, you actually get 5 cards out on the table by the end of the round. So if you think you might have a good chance at getting a good hand, if 2 more come, or if you already have a good hand, you're going to keep betting and keep going in, and then the dealer will do the 4th card and the 5th card. So by the end of that round of betting, there's 5 on the table. You've got 2 in your hand, and the best 5 you can combo with, you know,
Okay.
is how you do it.
Okay. So, all right. So you got your two cards in the hole. You got three cards face up. Then there's a round of betting. Then he flips over a fourth card. There's another round of betting.
Yep.
And then the fifth card.
Another
A
round of
final
betting.
round of betting?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
All right. And then, anywhere along the way, and see this is where I lose track. It's just too much for my brain. There's strategy in what you're betting, and it's bluffing, and it's all kind of a tactic, thing of trying to psych others out and this and that. And so poker players think they know, they have an idea of what all the other players have or what they
Yes.
might have, or and that's where I'm talking about a lot of things at once, but that's also where like the long-term strategy comes in, where you, the players, start to learn how the other players are playing and what they do and how they bet and generally what that means and what they're trying to tell you through their
Mhm.
behavior type thing. And that is where it's just too much. It just blows my mind up.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where the fun is for me. But yeah, so that thing you were hinting at, that term is called a range.
Okay.
So if I'm a good player and I'm playing with people I know or any good player, depending where you are on the table, every seat is a different position. So like there's a little dealer, we call it a button, but there's a dealer thing where you pass around, right? So you take turns dealing, or if you have a professional dealer, you just move the button around.
Okay.
And so if a player is on the button, they have the dealer in front of them, the chip, they always get to go last. And so you have the most
Oh.
advantageous position.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
people
yeah.
bet before you, then you get to decide what to do.
Yeah,
So that
okay.
passes every round.
Okay.
So depending on where you are in relation to that, you've got either like the worst position or the best. And it's like goes from worst, the closer you are,
Sure.
the better position you
Okay.
have.
All right. That makes sense.
And so as a good player, and this is kind of basic logic, but as a good player, I know if somebody bets, let's just say $100 and they have the worst position, that probably means they have a pretty good hand,
Okay.
right? Because they're in the weakest position. Everyone's behind
But they're
them. They got
confident.
to go first. They're confident. If they're that confident, that tells me, okay, their range is probably a set of 10 possible good hands, right?
Okay.
If someone bets the same exact thing from the dealer position, they go last and they're trying to be aggressive or maybe they're bluffing, who knows? They have a very different range. And
Okay.
so you can kind of, depending on the player, depending on the game, depending on a lot of different things, but you can
Sure.
kind of learn like, oh, he's doing this from this position. I can kind of peg him to a certain range.
Okay.
And then if you get really good, you know what cards you have, you know what cards are out there. You can start to narrow in that range. And like eventually you can be like, okay, he has three possible
You
hands.
almost look like a
And
psychic.
that's it. No, you can. Like, and it's not simple or easy, but like, yeah, the best players, there's a pro, any poker player knows. His name's Daniel Negreanu. And he's famous. He's kind of an older pro. So he grew up in the 80s and 90s playing. And like nowadays, it's all mathematical. Like every young player is like crazy into math and statistics.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was gonna say is stats, and that's one thing I kind of picked up on was watching that one tournament that I actually watched the whole thing. How much math and statistics plays a role, and not just on the display on the TV. The little stats change or whatever. But I got a hint listening to the commentators of the stats, and these are former players that are commentating just like every other sport, right? They retire, quit playing or whatever, then they go into broadcasting, and the way that they were talking kind of clued me into that of like, oh, the players are doing it too. Oh, so it's not just because I've been a lifelong baseball fan, and so you watch, you know, uh, lots of numbers, right? And baseball is all about stats, and so I was just thinking this was like analysts measuring stats and this and that. But then watching watching the
it's real
tournament,
time.
it's like, oh, it's the players doing it. They're
Yeah.
doing all of this and kind of and then even more of like I'm out.
Yeah. No, as far as like the commentators and then if you're watching TV, the player is doing 10 times more calculation than the commentators. They're in there. I mean, there's like a bunch of terms I could throw out, but they're looking at the pot odds. They're looking at like expected EV, which is like your value if you call or fold. Like there's like a ton of different things, all math, all statistics, and they're doing it every single time. And not every player does that. Again, that's what we call like new poker. Because the old poker, like it's you and you got glasses on and
Yeah, or the
you're
visor or whatever.
bluffing,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna show you, you know, it's kind of like more romantic and goofy. But yeah, most of new poker these days is like 90% math, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people don't really care about the look and the show of, you know, trying to bluff. It's like, well, in this position, he's here. You're like this. People do this. They'll be like, okay, in your position, you got these 10 possible hands. 7 of them you would bluff with, and they're going to go, you're most likely bluffing because of like your range. They don't care what you're doing, what you look like necessarily.
Yeah.
There's like math involved, and yeah, that's where it gets fun for me. And but anyway, so Daniel Negreanu, this guy, he's famous for reading people's ranges and then saying it out loud during a real game, and
Oh.
he gets it right like scary often. Like
Oh.
he's so good, and he's a really nice guy. He's a cool player. Everyone loves him unless you're just a complete jerk and you don't like him for some reason. But
You don't
there's
like that he's that good. Those are the jealous people that you don't want in your life, anyways.
yeah, but even like tons of players lose to him and like they're still friends, and you know it's
Sure,
cool.
sure.
But
Because it's respect. You got to respect the skill. He's got a skill unlike anybody else has.
yeah, and people can do it. Like, you know, I practice that kind of thing, and I've done it maybe like once or twice. But like there's famous YouTube clips you can Google, like Daniel Negreanu guessing people's cards, and there's an incredible one from like I think the 90s or early 2000s where it's the end of a really big tournament. It's him and one guy, and Daniel has, let's just say, a pair of tens, and he says the guy's cards. He's like, I think you have queen 10. And the queen 10 beats his pair of tens.
Okay.
And so he's saying, I think you have queen 10. I know you've got queen 10. And then he goes all in.
Uh
And so he knows if he calls, he's losing.
huh.
But the guy has queen 10. And he's like, if he knows my hand, I can't win. And so he folds. And it's like,
Oh,
it's
God.
a famous poker clip, but I mean, he
Oh.
gets this guy to give up the best hand, which they both knew he had, but like it's just an incredible like mind game. And again, that's more of the old poker. It's not really so much anymore, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool when you see it.
Good Lord. That would make me so mad. That would make me so freaking mad. To
Yeah.
know that's how I lost. Nothing against the guy. I would absolutely respect the skill, but just to know that's how I lost. To be the loser in that highlight, that would just ruin my
Yeah. No, it's a great clip. You know, he's like, I think you have queen 10. And he does this thing, and the guy just looks at him. He's like, you.
shit.
He's like, yeah, I forget what he says. He's like, oh, sick. He's like, that's sick, man. That's just sick. And then he folds. And he's like, yeah, he's defeated.
Ugh.
Yeah. So why do you ask about poker? Are you interested in learning? I mean, you trying to play?
No, so
Just curious.
we were talking briefly before we came on. My wife and some of her friends threw a surprise birthday party for my wife's best friend, and they had a company come around and they set up gambling tables. And so they had a craps table set up, they had a poker table set up, they had two blackjack tables. I think they had roulette as well. Yeah, they had a roulette wheel. So it's a little casino company that'll come up and like set up in your backyard, you know, and the hosts, they always put up all the prizes, you know, and so there was a first, second, and third place prize. You know, it was a gift card to a restaurant or something like that, you know. But when you show up and you start playing, everybody gets the same stack of chips when you start playing, and then you play throughout the night, of course, and whoever has the most at the end wins the prizes provided by the host or whatever. And it just got me thinking of you and one of our sales guys, Brian, and I was trying to think of somebody else just to myself of thinking, and I've got some other friends too that play casually but regularly, and it's like this would be dangerous with somebody like Ben or Brian here. just,
Well,
just
yeah, it kind of depends. Like people who people who get good enough and would call themselves pretty good, they actually don't like playing with um, a bunch of other weak players. Typically, because like,
there's no skill in it. It's just
well, they often lose. like if I'm playing a game with a bunch of
Okay.
like
All
if it's a
right.
majority
Right.
of weaker players, I'll often lose because like there's no way for me to really read what's going on
Because they're just doing
because
whatever.
exactly.
So,
And I mean, sure, it's less fun, and also it's like it'd be really frustrating. Like, why the heck would you ever do that?
yeah, there was a couple of moments
Oh
of
yeah,
that of some older guys playing who you could tell were into it, and there's lots of games going on, right? So I wasn't just watching the poker table. Um, but yeah, there was a couple moments of some older guys like, why would you do that?
yep.
their wife or or some girl at the table. Not that it has to be a woman, but it just so happened to be a woman. It's like, what? I don't know. I just did it
And
and
the
won.
woman won. Oh yeah, no, that is very common.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what we like to avoid.
Yeah, he has dumb luck.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
But if it's more even, like if it's kind of 50-50 or skewed toward better players, yeah, I mean the better players are probably going to win every time. Not every
sure,
time, but over the long run, couple hours, yeah.
sure. So, all right. So, getting on that, playing these tournaments, playing these games that go on, call it hours, if not, you said through the night sometimes. What? How does that think of it? I think of it like a story arc, and so how does that play out, and how would you enter a turn? Do you enter a tournament like that with kind of the game plan and kind of ideas of what you think you want to do, maybe play it safe at the beginning and read everybody out, or and I realize this not everybody's going to have, but just for you,
Hmm.
do you enter with a game plan? Do you have kind of a strategy or something that you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. There's two different types way to play um, poker in Texas Hold'em, which is cash games and then tournaments.
Okay.
And so the difference, the only difference, well, I guess there's a few differences, but the main difference is tournament, you play to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Cash game, you stop whenever, right? And you just take what you got. In tournaments, to get everybody to the end and not go weeks and months, because it would, um, you have what's called blinds and you've got a timer. And so, depending on how long the tournament's going to be, like if you go to a legit tournament, in your local casino or neighborhood or whatever it is, it's
Mm-hmm.
probably 10 to 15 hour long. Like that's like a standard, that's not a big one. That's like a normal tournament. If you play a home game, like I don't want to play for less than 3 hours. So like that'd just be boring.
Okay.
So yeah, 4 or 5 hours home game, 10 hours for a more legit kind of thing.
Okay.
You go to a World Series of Poker, that's 5 days of
Good
12 hour days
Lord.
too. It's intense. I've never been, but one day,
One
one
day.
day I'll do it. It's only a $10,000 entry fee, so
Chump change.
yeah,
Yeah.
someday. But yeah, so you have blinds and there's a clock. So depending on how long it is, they structure it so it will last exactly that long. They know how
Okay.
to structure it. And so for a home game, if you want to play for 3 hours, you're gonna have a certain level of blinds where the timer is gonna go off every 20 minutes. And essentially that means the value of your chips are cut in half essentially every time. And so you
Huh.
have to pay twice as much as you would previously. And so it
Okay.
keeps going up and up and up because it
Okay.
forces everybody to play more and get more
I was gonna
aggressive.
say, and pay more attention and take it more seriously and not get comfortable.
100%.
Okay,
Because
all right,
otherwise,
interesting.
yeah. So that's how it works. So you have to play and you have to like if the blinds go up and you've doubled your chips, well, you still have the same value that you started with because
Mhm,
they were cut in half.
mhm.
So that's kind of how it works.
Okay,
So yeah, strategy. I don't really have like a set strategy about like before. I kind of play the same throughout. But the first hour or two of a tournament's always the most fun because you've got a huge stack of chips. Everyone's kind of even.
yeah,
There's no pressure because like towards the end of the tournament, the blinds are so big that like you've got like two chips left essentially. So it's very stressful because like you might just go in and you have no chance of really being strategic. It just happens.
okay,
So that happens. You'll go out because just bad luck. But the beginning is fun. You have plenty of time and room, and you can do whatever you want. So
okay,
it's kind of what everybody enjoys in a tournament is the first few hours, and then it all
okay.
goes downhill from there.
Yeah, then it just circles and circles the drain the whole way.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking there'd be two ways. What I thought you were going to say when you said two ways of playing, I thought you were going to say that there's people that come in headstrong and like out of the gate, they want to be tenacious, they want to be aggressive, they want to like make themselves known, whatever. And then I would figure some people would come in and just try and fly under the radar and just be the ones that just sit back,
Yeah.
quiet, and just and gaze at everyone, and do that.
100%. I've never seen anyone have the discipline to do a little bit of both at different times. So if you're the aggressive player, you typically play aggressive the whole time.
Okay.
I've never seen somebody play aggressive for like an hour to assert dominance and then like totally switch.
Okay.
I've literally never seen that because
Okay.
that might actually work, but that would take like there's a weird like sense at the table, and that would take like some serious discipline and like practice to really do that
Sure. Sure.
because you're kind of tempted and coerced to like keep playing the same way. I mean, it's kind of complicated, but yeah, that's kind of an interesting idea. And if you're timid or you're more they call it you play tight, like you don't play a lot of hands, you're very careful.
Uh-huh.
You typically play that way the whole tournament.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and I wasn't talking about the same person doing two things. I was just talking about two different ways of entering the tournament. Like I could see you being the guy that just comes in and and not that you wouldn't be like personable or talking or whatever, but I see you as the guy that would kind of sit back and watch and just be that guy that's look observing more than interacting, more than talk. Like you're not aggressive like a Sir Donovan's kind of person. You might be on the poker table. I don't know. The other Ben might come out or something. I don't know. But I see you as that guy that comes in and would just be observing everyone, cordial, nice enough, sure, talk to and shoot the shit or whatever. But I don't see you as coming in like some of these yahoos you see on like get up and yelling, whoa, throwing cards down the table and shit like that. I don't know, but I have seen those people that come in and are just talking shit and just trying to get inside your head and just just talking shit. And then the guy they're talking shit to is on the other end of the table and he doesn't say a word. He's just sitting there just dead eye. Just he's probably the guy doing all the math in his head and the statistics out the ass.
Probably. Yeah. So you're kind of talking about two different things. So I don't know what you would even label that as, but like you're talking about personality and like how you interact at the
Uh-huh.
table. Um, so I kind of misunderstood you. So I'm definitely not loud and obnoxious and
Yeah.
annoying. Most players aren't. Like the guy kind of get into your head and talking a lot and doing that whole angle. That's like 5% of people who actually play.
Okay.
Most people just kind of sit there and are chill, and we
Sure.
all have a cordial conversation. It's honestly typically very even keel. Um, but play style, uh, aggressive versus tight, that's a very different thing. And you can do that
Okay.
without having the kind of loud, boisterous
Okay.
personality. And
Okay.
I do have a very aggressive play style,
Okay.
but
All
I'm not
right.
like loud and crazy and I
I
don't
didn't even think
talk.
about that.
Yeah.
So the way that you're betting, the way that you're folding, the way that you're
Yep.
okay, so that has nothing to do with what the audience like me might see.
Correct. Yeah.
Or the inverse of that would be you could be loud and audacious but give up every single hand because you're waiting on the right thing and that's
Sure.
playing very tight. Okay, all
Yep.
right, interesting.
Yep.
Just another layer that I just don't understand.
Yeah. No, but it's cool. I mean, what you see on TV is usually not that close to reality. Most people just want to sit there and have a good time and talk, and
Sure.
99% are super nice and everyone's just kind of having a good time together. And
Yeah, and
I've only seen a couple like really annoying loud people out of
sure.
the thousands I've played with, and it's pretty rare.
And I can imagine to the point on TV is like those people know the cameras are there. They're playing to the audience.
Yeah,
They're trying to get a sponsorship deal out of something because they're just trying to be that guy.
they want to
And
get the viral YouTube short or
exactly,
TikTok.
exactly.
Yeah,
They want people to know who they are. They want to be internet famous. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
All right, but yeah, I did not associate personality style with playing style. That's yet another layer that I just kudos to you, man. I just don't get
Well,
it.
let's get you on the felt. one of these days. Well, you know what we should
We
do?
play with popcorn.
Well, no, I like the your wife's company, like, the whole like sponsored event. I mean, that'd be pretty fun. We should do that. We should do that here. We
Yeah,
should just have like, it's free, so it's not gambling or anything,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you get
yeah.
a couple prizes
Uh huh.
and
Yeah,
do it at Phil Pulse.
you and Brian just cleaning the house.
Maybe. I mean, you never know. Like
But
there's
like you said though, if there's enough dim-witted people playing, then y'all lose because
oh yeah.
why would you play that?
Odds are that probably would happen. There's a good example of this exact thing is The Office. I don't know if you've seen that episode, like season 2 of The Office.
Okay.
They have a company casino charity night, so all proceeds go to charity.
Okay.
And one of the guys, Kevin on The Office, is talking about how good at poker he is. He's got like the World Series of Poker bracelet,
Yeah.
and he's kind of a nerdy guy. But on that night, he's wearing a nice little shirt. He's got like the Tommy Bahama kind of thing, or the glasses and everything. And like 2 seconds later, he loses all of it on like this
Yeah.
hand to Phyllis, who's never played before, and she's like, "I won."
Yay.
Yeah.
That would be me. I won? Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely a thing. But yeah, that'd be fun. We should do it.
Yeah, that would be fun. Be interesting to see, like you just said, like we were just talking about people's personalities versus their play style. And I wonder if there's a couple of sharks among us that would just sneakily come in and just clean house.
Yeah. Yeah, could be. It'd be fun to see. I also have never even played any other game ever. So I've never played legit blackjack. I played when I was a little kid, like, again, like 12,
Sure.
like 21 or whatever with friends, but I don't
Yeah.
actually really know how to play the full game. Never played for real. Never played craps.
Yeah.
No idea how that works. So it'd be fun for me to
Yeah,
learn too.
craps is another one, man. That my sister and brother-in-law, we all went to Vegas a few years ago, and they studied craps. They studied it. They wanted to learn how to play it, and so and going to Vegas, of course, that's that Mecca, and so they studied the game to just try and understand it, just try and get an idea of what craps is, and so they went and I think any gambling card playing game like that, table game like that is the complete opposite of just pulling a slot machine. You can just walk up to a slot machine, pull it, and leave. But craps, any table game like that, you got to commit to being there for a little while. To get rhythm of the game or get something going for you. And they went down there and played for like all day. And I think they came away with a couple $100, and I think what my sister was doing anytime they won, she would just take the winnings and just put it in her pocket, and so she just collected $5-10 at a time.
Taxes.
Yeah, yeah. Just she was just stuffing that in her pocket, so she kept playing with the same amount of money the whole time, and then whenever she lost, she lost it, but she just kept her winnings in her pocket. Um, but yeah, learning crap that she was trying to explain it to me. And that's yet another game. Like roulette is simple. It's a ball that lands on a number, and you're just guessing which number it's going to land on. I can handle that, and all the different betting styles, and and how to split numbers and how to get that's easy. That's just pure luck. That's just pure luck. And then blackjack to me is pretty simple with a additional layer of strategy because you're playing against other people and you're got your card face down so you don't always know whether people have this and that, so I can handle that amount of complexity. I don't play well. I always lose. I never win. All I'm Like I said, I'm anytime I show up to do something like that, I might as well just put the money on the ground because I don't ever win. My mom does. My mom wins a lot. Not me though.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be fun to do. There's plenty of companies around that do it, like that company that was there on Friday night. They'll come and set up all the games. They have the dealers. And it looks nice. It's a nice looking table, nice looking roulette wheel, and
Ooh, what if that was our next Christmas party?
yeah,
That'd be fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah, and I can just go ahead and I'll just walk around with my pile of chips and just give them to everyone. Like, hey, here you go. I'm not playing because this is gonna go anyways.
Nah, we'll train you up by then. You got 6 months. Yeah, you'll be a pro by then. You can join me and Brian for the losing team because
yes.
then you'll be like, why did you do that? That's not how you play.
All right, man. Well,
Cool.
if you don't have anything else for us, I think we're gonna wrap it up with that.
No, that was fun. Yeah, I'll any day I'll talk about poker. Yeah, I guess if you've got poker questions or anything you want to know, or you're interested in the sport, feel free to email us, chat with us, Facebook groups.
I could see some people playing. We should try and do this.
An online game with our community.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking
Is
in
that what
like
you were
the
thinking?
comment section, like have it, a dealer. The post is what the dealer deals, and then the comments below are what you have. I don't know. I think this could be done. I think this could be done. You
Maybe.
tag people in a post, and you.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be done.
Okay.
You message them the cards that they have, so it's in their inbox in Messenger, and then the comment is what the dealer has, and then each person who got a private message, is saying how much they're betting,
Yeah.
and then
Okay. Yeah,
and then
that could work.
it would be complicated, it'd be a complete waste of time, but it'd be funny to see.
That could work. Well, if our audience is into that kind of thing, then maybe I kind of don't have any idea what our audience is, does for fun. Baseball, poker,
Everybody does a lot,
walking the dog,
plenty of stuff. One of our customers in
watching for
Fort
owls.
Worth just bought a second race car,
Mm,
like a drag car, an old Nova or something, and
that's sick.
that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody else just bought another boat, or a boat. So
I think we should go do it in the field with that guy.
yeah, yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah, absolutely.
Where is he located? Houston?
With the drag car,
Yeah.
he's in Fort Worth.
Ooh, that's close.
Yeah, it's close enough.
We should call him.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
I think you know who you are. I know who you are.
We'll make you a commercial for free.
Yeah, if I can just take your Nova on one rip down in Ennis, I just want one rip down. I don't even do a quarter mile, just an eighth mile, just one rip and a Nova straight down the track.
4 seconds.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It depends on how fast the car is.
Three to 4.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for watching, listening. Ben, as
Bye.
always, thank you.
All right.
See you guys.
Thanks, Daniel.